Hello, Scorpios, and welcome to this, your June 1st through June 15th reading and predictions. My name is Marnie. I am Intuitive Butterfly. If you like what you see here, I would love a comment or a like. That would be wonderful. This is a general reading intended for anybody born under the sign of Scorpio, as well as anybody else who has a significant amount of Scorpio in their charts. Again, this is a general reading, so at this particular time, it will resonate with some of you, but not all of you. Rest assured, at some point in time, either in the past or in the near future, this video will likely resonate with all of you at some point in time. But as with any psychic or tarot reading, it's all about the timing. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. For those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome. You will notice that I am sitting still in my cousin's man cave here in southeastern Alberta. And also, if you can believe it, it is the end of May as I'm recording this, and I am still sitting here freezing cold wearing a sweater. Yeah. Welcome back to Canada. For those of you who have been here before, you'll know that I spent 2.5 years in Mexico. And so this is a little bit of a shock to my system. Okay. Scorpio, where are we going for your first cards here today? For those of you who are new here, I do pull all of the cards for each section of the reading, and I leave them sitting face down until I'm actually ready to turn them over and read them. So let's get started. Scorpios. Okay, Scorpio, we have 4 cards here for you. Okay, so Scorpio, we do have 4 cards out here for you. We're just going to turn them all over. Okay, the next cards that we're going to pull for you, Scorpio, are going to be cards of what you are currently focusing on here. End of May going into June. So early to mid-June, Scorpio's focus. Looks like we're going to have to go back through the deck a second time here. Let's try this again. What are the Scorpios focusing on? Ooh, okay, that card actually flipped over and I got a peek at it, Scorpio. What else are you focusing on? Early to mid-June. That one is face down. Can't see what that one is. All right, does that card want to actually come out? Let's see. Yes, it does. Okay, so we're going to pull this card out as well. I don't know if you can see, but it's sitting up here by itself. So the card that did, just full disclosure, the card that did jump out for your focus card that I am able to see is the stress card. So we'll read that one first and then second, and then that other card from the middle of the deck there. The next card that we're going to pull out for you, Scorpio, is going to be cards of difficult influences. These are cards that indicate something that we're struggling with. Now, this is not something that is necessarily impossible. It just means that the energies behind this card are something that perhaps we need to be made aware of. Oftentimes, cards in the difficult influences could show that we're procrastinating more than we should, or we're being more closed off than we should be, things like that. So, Scorpio, let's have a look at what your difficult influences are. Knowing our difficult influences allows us to be able to be aware of them. And when we're aware of them, we can deal with them on a conscious level. Oftentimes, difficult influences is what we are not aware of. And so therefore, they have the ability to bubble and brew this below the surface and influence us on an unconscious level. The next card that we're going to pull for you is going to be cards of This Makes Sense. Right. Now, the This Makes Sense cards are cards that either pull the rest of the reading all together for us or have the identical meaning to another card in your reading, thus giving you that double reinforcement that the energies intended behind that card are really important at this time. All right, what makes sense for Scorpio right now? What does Scorpio need to know right now? For June 1st through June 15th, is there anything else? I sense that there might be one more card in here for you for This Makes Sense. Yeah, there we go. Is there anything else? Yep. Oh, quite a bit more. Okay, so this was the first card out, then that one, then those. Okay, I'm getting the sense there was 3 more cards that popped out. These are your cards of unexpected. Unexpected influences and insights. Okay. Scorpio, the final cards that we're going to pull for you today are going to be cards of your general overall outcome. The general overall outcome cards are the cards that look the furthest into the future for the time period intended behind this reading. So the cards that are predicting or projecting where you're going to be at, the energies that will be influencing you come mid-June. Definitely going over here to the tarot. General overall outcome. Is there anything else for the outcome for the Scorpios? Mid-June? Nope. Okay, so we have 2 cards out there. Let's put them in the order in which they came out. Nope, there's 3 cards there. One of them was hiding underneath the other. Okay, Scorpio. Where are you at now? You've got the King of Winter, the Strength card, the 10 of Winter, and the Empress. Ooh. So you've got 2 swords here, and you've got 2 major arcana cards. The King of Winter is a card about asking for advice or guidance from individuals. The thing about the King of Winter is that the advice that you'll get from the individual coming in or the individual that you are going to seek advice from at this time, Scorpio, is likely to be very unemotional. What does that mean? It means that you're likely to get the truth, whether it hurts or not. Okay. But this is a card of letting me know that you're kind of at a crossroads. These first 3 cards are indicating that you're kind of at a crossroads. You're coming up on an important decision here very quickly. And in order to make that final decision, seek out a confidant or a mentor and ask them the questions. Okay. You'll notice here over the shoulder of this particular fairy, I don't know if that's coming into focus for you or not, that there is an owl. And so this particular king, the King of Winter, also known as the King of Swords, travels with the owl. And we all know that we refer to the owl as the wise old owl. Who better to ask for advice? The next card that we have is the Strength card. The Strength card is Leo's card from the major arcana, Leo the Lion. So there is a possibility with the King of Winter being right next to the Strength card that the person that you seek the advice from, that mentor or confidant, may be a Leo. It's a possibility. Okay. Or it may be that a Leo may be coming in order to offer you additional strength in order to be able to overcome some challenges. Like I said, these first couple of cards are indicating that you've been in this place of difficulty, even going as far as the 10 here. I'll get to the 10 in just a minute, but both the King of Swords as well as the 11 card, the Strength card, are indicating that you've been on this journey where you have some kind of a decision that needs to be made. Now, that decision is going to involve you going within, finding your inner strength, finding, in some cases, you are going to have to find the power of forgiveness within yourself, because sometimes the strength card shows us that we need to exercise forgiveness somewhere in our lives. And it is a time of recognizing our own inner strength and our own ability to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. The next card that you have is the 10 of Winter. Now, the 10 of Winter is actually a really positive card. It's a card indicating that we're at the end of difficulties, that something is being resolved, which is wonderful and beautiful, but it's also an indication that you've been going through a rough time. Therefore, there is a difficulty that needs to be resolved. So, Scorpio, this is telling me that at this time, late May, as I'm recording this and moving into early June, you're at this place where something that you have been mulling over, turning over, a decision you've been looking to make, is coming to an end, and you're actually going to be able to make that decision. Where does that leave you? Well, in order to make a decision, it means that you have to actually step into your power, step into your inner empress. You need to actually make the decision and then move forward. The empress is about making a decision and then taking the action that is required in order to move into the life that you truly want. The empress is all about her beauty, both her inner beauty as well as living a life of luxury. Look at all the gold and gems and trinkets and everything that she has around her, indicating that the empress really truly does get what she wants. She lives in a life of luxury. And you too can do this, Scorpio. But in order to be able to do this, you are going to have to make some decisions. What are you focusing on? Okay, so we already knew that this 7 of Wands was here. 7 of Wands is a card, again, of needing to take action. This is a card of you are multitasking too much. See, the character on this particular card has way too many balls up in the air. He's trying to juggle. He's trying to play his trumpet. He's standing up on top of this. And here comes a little monkey with just, this is an indication that one tiny little thing could bring everything tumbling down. How do we resolve stress? We make the decisions. We step into our strength. We ask for help, and we ultimately make the decisions, and then we take action on those decisions. Okay. So how do you get out of this stress? Here, let's face it, Scorpio. When we're in that place of indecision, it will bring up stress for us. So what this is indicating is right now here, early June, you have a decision to make, and you are being called upon by these cards in a very powerful way to just make the decision one way or the other. This is an indication that you are avoiding making the decision. This is the card of laziness. This is the card of you sitting back, watching the world go by, allowing things to build up, rather than making the decision. But the final card that you have in your focus is the understanding card. And this card is indicating that by the middle of June, you will come to the understanding that once you make that decision, once you stop procrastinating, you can fly free. You'll notice here that this bird almost looks like it's still trapped in the cage, not understanding that it could fly free with all of its friends out here. The cage is open. It can leave at any time. And so when you realize that you can break out of indecision, you can break out of the stress, out of the laziness, out of the procrastination, but you are the only one that can do that, Scorpio. When you recognize that, that's when the cage door opens and you move forward. All right, Scorpio, what is in your difficult influences? Fire and intensity. Well, given that I am sitting in Alberta and the fires are burning, I was waiting for this card to come out at some point in time in some of these readings. Hopefully, yeah. All right, we're not going to go there. Okay. Scorpio, fire and intensity is in your difficult influences. What is this telling me? This is telling me that you are procrastinating until such time as it basically becomes overwhelming. You have a decision to make, Scorpio. For many of you, the decision that you have to make is regarding a relationship. And for some of you, the decision you have to make is regarding your money or your finances. Okay. I want to say for 2/3 of you, it's a decision about a relationship. Now, I'm not sensing that this is necessarily a termination of a relationship, but it is that you need to shift somehow the dynamics of a particular relationship in your life, Scorpio. That there's someone in your life that takes more than they give, and therefore there needs to be a shift in the dynamics of that relationship, because this intensity card in your difficult influences is telling me that this has been building for quite some time, and ultimately you do need to make the decision. For about excuse me, about 1/3 of you, this is pertaining to money, where you know that something is coming, it's just on the horizon regarding your money. And so there is this stress that's building because you know you need to make a decision about it, and yet you keep putting that decision off. And ultimately, the more you procrastinate, the more you're going to feel like you're sitting in the hot seat. So definitely decision time, Scorpio. Your cards that just make sense. Oh, interesting. Okay. This is interesting, Scorpio. So remember, I specifically pointed out the owl on this particular card, consulting with someone, mentor, trusted advisor, someone, because you want to check in with the wise old owl. In your cards that just make sense, you have 2 more owls. Owl is coming up pretty importantly in your reading here. As I mentioned, owls represent wise old owls. Owls represent getting advice. Whether that advice is consulting a higher power, whether that advice is consulting a mentor, a friend, a family member, a professor, whatever getting advice looks like to you, whether that involves consulting all of the aforementioned people and then throwing that into a pot, stirring it up, Scorpio, and then making your decision from there. But either way, you are definitely being asked to ask for advice at this time. You're being asked to trust your instincts. The message on this card, I don't know if we can get it to focus there. Anyway, you're being asked to trust your instincts at this time. Obviously, if you have a decision to be made, you need to trust your instincts, right? You need to sit up and pay attention to what your inner being is saying to you. So that card makes sense. And this card, you have the wise one here. Again, you have the owl represented on the wise one's shoulder, indicating that it's okay to ask for advice. And in fact, it's encouraged in your particular situation at this time. And the message on here is grow within your current situation. What does that mean? That means that you have a decision to be made. And once you actually make that decision, there's going to be growth. And as I mentioned, this understanding card had the same meaning behind it. Once you recognize that once you make a decision, the cage door opens and you can have more freedom, that is a deep understanding. When we are sitting in indecision, we are uncomfortable. We are in stress. We are in the fire. Once we make a decision, all of a sudden, there's kind of this calm blue that comes in, the doves come in, there's freedom that comes in. You know, pretty powerful message here. So you can grow from your current situation by understanding that once you make a decision, things begin to move forward. Right. In your unexpected, you have a card that says right on it, choose your direction. This is the direction, Guardian, choose your path. What do we have represented on here again? Oh, a whole bunch of wings, including owl wings. Pretty powerful message. Go ahead, ask for help, ask for advice and guidance, Scorpio. And once you have that advice or guidance, choose your path and walk it. You have the shaman here coming in. What does the shaman have on his head? The owl. How many owls do we have here for you? We have 5 owls coming in for you now, Scorpio. That is a pretty strong message. The shaman asks you to trust in the higher forces. This includes not only asking earthbound individuals for advice and guidance, but also trust in the higher forces. And you have the broken arrow. The broken arrow is about embracing the energy of peace. So if the decision you need to make, you feel is going to cause some kind of strife or disturbance, step into the energy of peace mid-June-ish. Yeah, I want to say 13, right in and around the 13th. Because when I say 12, it doesn't resonate. When I say 14, it doesn't resonate. Right around the 13th of June, Scorpio, one of the unexpected influences is you may be put into a position of having to embrace the broken arrow. You may have to play the role of peacekeeper or walk away. Sorry. So as many of you know, I am currently in Alberta, and the smoke, particularly mid to late May, has been really, really intense. And so I'm a little bit stuffed up. I do apologize for the sniffles on the video here. Okay. So what do we have here? You started out here with a 10 of winter, also known as the 10 of swords, and you're going to end off your reading with the 10 of wands in reversed. What does the 10 of wands in reversed tell us? Well, the 10 of wands in reverse is telling us that we're a little bit overburdened at this time. What's this telling me? That you may not have made the decision that you need to make yet come mid-June, because this is the outcome card. You have the Hanged Man in your outcome. So maybe by seeing things from a different perspective may help you to make the decision that you need to make, Scorpio. That's what this card is indicating. See things from a different perspective, see things from the other person's perspective, and then move forward and actually make that decision. you have the Knight of Wands coming in. The Knight of Wands is about courage. It's about making decisions, moving forward, being that courageous knight who's going to ride in on their horse and kind of save the day. This brave knight. Now, the Knight of Wands in particular is about action. Scorpio, a lot of your reading is about taking the action of making a decision. And with that, Scorpio, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you will join me again next month. Nope, not next month. Sorry. I hope that you'll join me again in the middle of June for your next reading.